Welcome to the Bleep Bulimia podcast with guest Cathy Nesbitt, founder of the Cathy's Laughter Club. Hi everyone, I'm Lorianne. I'm the host of Bleep Bulimia, and today I'm very pleased to have Cathy Nesbitt with me. She is a health and wellness advocate. She's also the founder of Cathy's Crawly Composters, Cathy's Sprouters, and what I love best is she's also Cathy's Laughter Club. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lorianne. I'm excited to be here.
So along with everything else, and we'll cover some of those aspects of, the composters and sprouters, but obviously what I was intrigued about is your laughter club. And some people might say, wow, this is a show on bulimia, but like I was telling you, I think a mindset's very important, and I think laughter is part of that. So why don't you tell us how you started that?
How I got into that. So you did mention my other offerings, which is worms. My working title actually is Cathy Crawly Laughing Bean Queen. And I believe, so it's simple solutions for today's challenges, worms for amending the soil, sprouts for eating, and laughter for overall health and wellness. So I started my worm business back in 2002. When our landfill closed. Remember, the landfill for Toronto closed in 2002. We started shipping garbage to Michigan, and I was like, I have a solution. It's indoor composting with worms. I have a lot of energy. And when you know something, when you're like, oh, everybody needs this, people don't always buy what they need, they buy what they want. Right? So although they might need worms, they don't want them. So I was like, wow, how am I gonna put worms in every living space if people are afraid of them? And so I went for about 10 years, going like the Energizer Bunny. And then one day, one more person said to me, ooh, worms in the house. And I was like, this is so hard. How am I ever going to put worms everywhere? So I was like, maybe I should just get a job. Oh, who would have me? Anyone hiring? No, just joking. And then I was introduced to laughter yoga. I was at a business meeting, and the first speaker was a laughter yoga teacher, and she introduced the concept to me, and I was like, I don't even do regular yoga. Laughter yogis call it conventional yoga or traditional yoga. It's just yoga. So I don't even do yoga, but I love laughing. So I said, maybe that's something interesting. That same week, I was at a business networking event, hundreds of people at this event. And the very first woman I met was a laughter yoga teacher. And I was like, twice in 1 week, come on. So I was intrigued, and I actually ended up attending her club. She had a club in North York, and my mother-in-law lived in North York. So I was like, hey, and I love my mother-in-law. She recently passed. So I'm happy to keep her alive here. It's because of my mother-in-law that I got into laughter yoga, because we would go, it was our date night. Once a month we would go for dinner, and then we'd go to laughter club. What a fun date. And then the club closed. The club was at Yonge and Sheppard, which is one of the busiest sections of Toronto. Tens of thousands of people live at that corner. It's condos everywhere. So I was like, wow, I was sad. Like, man, they just don't know all these people. Like, there's not 10 people that want to come and laugh every month. Come on. Anyway, so I was sad that it closed, but I was like, let me get trained. I got trained as a leader, and then I trained as a teacher. And right now, during this cuckoo time, I'm being called to bring laughter more than ever. We have a mental health tsunami on our hands. And you talked about, bulimia is not funny. No illness is funny. And when you have some kind of degenerative disease or any kind of ailment, it's stressful. So you're secreting cortisol, and we can only heal, and you would know this probably, you can only heal when we're relaxed, like when we're in parasympathetic mode, right? So when we're stressed, we're secreting cortisol, we're not breathing, all kinds of things going on with our body. When we're laughing, it's not laughing at the situation, like it's not laughing because you're not well, or laughing because there's a pandemic or floods or fires or all this devastation that's going on. It's laughing because of those things. We laugh because of those things, which allows us then to secrete the love drugs, right? Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins versus the cortisol. We get to be in charge of our own pharma. It's a beautiful thing. All right, let me let you say something.
Oh, I'm sitting here, I'm just really intrigued by this, and I really do, like I said, I believe in that. I believe that that we need laughter, and I do believe that it helps with recovery. It's like you said, because of all those, you know, benefits to it. So yeah, so you're now, are you teaching? So you're presently teaching laughter yoga.
Yes, so there's a few layers. So the first course you take, you become a leader. It's a 2-day training, like super fun. So I'm now trained. So you start as a leader, which allows you to lead laughter clubs, like an hour session, or you know, you could go here and there. And then the next level is teacher training, which I've taken. It's 5 days. Imagine 5 days laughing. Youpee, how fun. And then that allows you to teach the leaders. And the next level is master. So then you train with Dr. Madan Kataria. He's the founder of Laughter Yoga. It's the 26th anniversary. It started in 1995 by a medical doctor, Madan Kataria, and in India. And he was, you know, writing an article for a magazine on laughter. And he was, you know, at the time he was dispensing antidepressants, and maybe he wasn't feeling super happy himself. And when he started to research about laughter, he kept coming across all this research about laughter is the best medicine. So he's like, hey, if laughter is the best medicine, why don't we just laugh? Back in 95, he could only find 5 people that would go and laugh with him. 5 people in India, that's funny. And now it's a global phenomenon. So they started, you know, by telling jokes, oh, whatever, this and that. And they start off innocent enough. But then after a while, right, 2 weeks, they're meeting every day, everyone laughing, fun. Then the jokes start to become off color, like it's about somebody or a nationality, or somebody's at the butt of that joke, not funny. So laughter yoga. So then it was like, okay, what are we going to do? And then people were getting discouraged. This isn't what we signed up for. We don't want to, you know, because the group started with 5, but then it was growing every day as they were like, what are those people doing? What are they laughing at over there? That looks fun. Because we're primed for laughter. We love laughter. We're attracted by laughter, even though sometimes we're repelled if we're in a bad state. If we're in a bad mood, we're like, oh, what are they so happy about? Right? And we kind of take that, right? Yeah. So he was like, come tomorrow, I'm going to come up with a solution. And he got a note from the universe like, hey, why don't you just be like kids, just do little games. So laughter yoga is not doing yoga. I say it's not fancy pants or poses. It's intentional laughter exercises. We're just like designed to make us feel better. And we do. We connect, you know, it's contagious in a good way. So we're laughing, ha, 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 when we hear someone, and in the club, you know, even if someone's serious, once you start laughing, then you realize, and as the laughter leader, you give people permission. Like you say, like, allow yourself this time, like this might be odd, laughing for no jokes, no reason, because laughter's being squished out of us. It's not societally acceptable to be standing on the corner, like doing your laughter yoga, like, ah, ha, 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 ho, 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 ha, ha, ha. Like people would be like, 911, there's someone, right? And especially like if it was a man, say, as a woman, maybe we could get away with a few more things. So in a club, it's a safe environment where we can come together. And even as a natural laugher, the first time that I attended laughter yoga, it was weird. Like I was looking at my mother-in-law like, oh, this is odd, this is weird. But at the end of the hour, we were like, wow, we feel great. We feel, you know, we're all oxygenated. And so here's the thing. I know it's about bulimia, so it is about food. We can live without food and water for a few days. We would be grumpy and uncomfortable, but we could do it. We can only live without oxygen for a few minutes. Laughter forces us. That sounds harsh. Laughter encourages us to laugh, right? Like you can't be like, ha, 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 ha. You got to be like, ha, right? And we all know, we've all experienced, it might have been a long time ago for some people, where you're laughing so hard, your belly's hurting, your cheeks are hurting, maybe tears are coming down, your eyes are cleaning, right? Those are the laughter muscles. It is a cardiovascular workout. 10 to 15 minutes of sustained belly laughter, like really laughing full on, is equivalent to about 300 sit-ups. Woo! Right? Or 30 minutes on a rowing machine. I mean, I could give all kinds of equivalents. It's free, no special equipment, no experience required. Like all that you need is the intention to laugh, the idea that you want to feel better, and then it will come. Back to not being able to heal when we're stressed. Like if we have any ailment where we're not sleeping properly, where we're like, our mind's always racing, like we're not good enough, especially as women, we're always beat up. So all these things that we take on, the weight of the world, as they say, it's hard. So when we're laughing, it allows us that moment to just laugh. It raises our vibration. So when you're stressed, when you're sad, when you're depressed or anxious, you're closed, you're small, you're not taking up much space because you're worried, and you're not breathing, you're shallow breathing. So laughter really forces us just to open up take up more space, that's what I encourage people to do. Just be bigger and look up, because it's, I think technology has been a blessing, and it's also causing us ailments, because when we're on our cell phone, we're looking down, and we're looking down a lot now because it's down here. Someone needs to come up with, like with the selfie stick, someone needs something up here, because as soon as we're looking down, even if we're looking at cute cat videos, we're sending a note to our brain that I must be sad because I'm looking down, right? The candy cane neck. So our physiology says, I'm sad.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, yikes. Because everybody has, I don't have a cell phone. I was going to say everybody does. I don't.
Good for you. Wow.
Most people do. Right. So today, that it's really important. And I guess that was from a documentary called You Are What You Act, a Canadian filmmaker, Albert Nuremberg. And I would encourage everyone to look at that movie. You can find it for free online. It was one of the Hot Docs films in 2018. And that film talks about, you can become whatever you want. You can become whatever you want. If you act sad, then you will be sad. If you act happy, you will become happy, because you will train your brain to secrete those chemicals, and your physiology will change. And as we change the people around us. It sounds so simple, and I don't want anyone to think, oh yeah, easy for her. I sell worms by the pound. You can only imagine what people have said to me. Like, I feel like because worms are reviled, like people that are afraid of worms, hate worms. And I feel like, because most people hate worms, according to them, like, when you think something, you think everybody thinks the same. So I do a lot of exhibiting, or before COVID, I was doing a lot of exhibiting for my business. And people that were afraid of worms would come to me, and they would tell me these horrible stories about worms, or like, ew, what did I do? And it was just like, man, that's brutal. So I can't remember why I got into that piece. Right. But I feel like, yeah, so if people are feeling sad at this moment, it's one step at a time. Like I would say, search out a laughter club online. You don't, like, now online, laughter yogis, it's a worldwide movement. There are laughter yogis around the world. North America's a late adopter, right? Yoga's just arriving. So laughter yoga, 26 years, it's pretty new. There are thousands and thousands of clubs around the world. We actually had a global, it was the Ho-Ho Olympics yesterday, a global 8 hours of laughter. Can you imagine? And we traveled around the world. It was so beautiful. because it's, although there are foundational exercises, so I can show you what we do. Like, so it's a clapping and chanting. So when you're clapping palm to palm, which activates the meridians. So like acupuncture without, or tapping without the needles. So it's so much more fun. So you start, because it's a cardiovascular workout, we do a little bit of gentle warm-ups, just some gentle stretching, deep diaphragmatic breathing, and then there's some little games. So there are about 40 or so foundational exercises, like milkshake. So you would be making a milkshake. So you just have your stuff, and then you're like, you mix it, yoop, 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 and then you drink it, ah, ha, 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 ha. And that's, so it's just like games, just little fun things. Credit card, you pull out your credit card, oh my gosh, look at how much I owe. Fun. Or cell phone, right? Cell phone laughter, like all different little games. Now this event we had yesterday, people around the world, so like different people have written songs, so little fun games, songs that you dance around to, and it's really just about deciding to laugh, deciding that, yes, I do want to have a better life, because a better life is there for you. It's just when you're not well, that's all you can see is your not wellness. Yeah. So in order to get past, not even past it, I don't want to dismiss anything. I really don't want to dismiss where anybody is, because I get it. Oh yeah, that's why I started about the worms, because people might be like, oh, look at her, it's fine for her. It was really hard. I had this strange mission of putting worms in every house. I don't know why I was the chosen one for worms. How do I know? Like I have no idea what, so when people say those things to me, it hurts. And it's like, and I'm super, super sensitive. I'm one of those very soft, who was told all my life, the world is harsh, gross, thicker skin, and although, like, how can I? This is how I am. I'm like this. And now I know, now that I'm 58, now, and I really want younger. Now I understand actually that it's a blessing. Being super sensitive is really a blessing, because I feel everything. So I can feel when you're lying to me. I know. Don't lie to me. I know. I can feel it. And I really want the younger people to understand that. I don't know if young people are listening to to your midlife podcast, but maybe they are. If they are, I hope they're listening to this. Just to get the message that we don't have to wait. We don't have to wait to start living our life. Like if high school was hard, it's hard for everyone, because it's just that time where you're trying to find your way, and everyone's judging everyone else and trying to climb over the other one. Just be your own. Like, we can only do our own thing. So just do that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I do know that there are some younger people who also watch this, because anyone who's struggling with bulimia, there's something to be heard about. The reason why I did the midlife is because that's the portion of the community of bulimia that people don't really look at. They don't realize that there are women 40, 50, 60 still struggling with it. And it seems almost they're more ashamed of it, because they thought, I should be over it by now. I was 48 before I recovered, and went 30 years with it. So that's why I wanted to reach out and make sure that, other women don't think you're alone on this one. It really does exist. But the laughter thing I do love. I did watch this one video, and it was just that there was a guy, and it was just a social experiment. And he went on, and he's holding, his laptop up, and he's just laughing. And they're videotaping, and slowly but surely everybody on that bus started laughing, just watching him laugh.
When you saw in that video, though, how awkward they were at the beginning, they were like,
yes,
not sure if they should laugh, and then eventually everyone was laughing, but
yes,
it took time.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, because they had to make sure that he was, like, I guess at first they thought, is this guy crazy, right? That's the first one. But then, yeah, once one started laughing, the other one did, the other one did. And who does not love the sound of a baby's laughter. I mean, you can't help but laugh at that too. So it is contagious, like you said, definitely. And we need more of it. So I really appreciate what you're doing out there. And
yeah, thank you. You know, I'm working with, before COVID, I was going into long-term care. Working, also doing work with an Alzheimer's group called Active Minds. That was in person. And again, I didn't know how it would work online, but it's working wonderfully. Not so much with long-term care. I haven't, I think that's really hard. I think it really needs to be in person there. But with the Alzheimer's group, the Active Minds, that's younger people like 50s and younger with early onset Alzheimer's or dementia.
Yeah.
So they're quite physically fit, just that their mind is starting. And so we weren't sure, you know, online has allowed us to reach more people. Now, when at my laughter club with Alzheimer's, I get people from across Canada, where before it was a localized group.
that's really, yeah, that has been really positive in that sense. And like I always said, I'm glad it was now that it happened, because if it happened in the 1980s, we didn't have all this, you know, so.
We're lucky in that sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we all want it to be over and whatever is going to happen with it. But in the meantime, we need to keep on going, right? When we're stressed, we can't function. And another thing, like about it being scientifically proven, I don't need the science. I just looked, oh, that sounds fun, or that's going to be good for me, so I'll do it. Some people do need the science. So the brain requires 25% more oxygen than the rest of the body as an operating principle. Oh. It's the answering machine, right? It's a machine. So when we're stressed, we're not breathing properly. And in fact, most of the blood, lymph, oxygen leaves our brain because we're going into fight, flight, or freeze mode, right? We're just going to react. Either we're going to beat someone up, or we're going to run away, or we're going to freeze like a rabbit. Right? So like during a pandemic or any kind of stressful situation. So if we, I'll give you a demonstration. Like, have you ever lost your keys, phone, glasses, and you're flopping around? You're like, come on, I gotta go. Where are they? Oh! And you're like, I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna lose my job, or whatever. I'm not gonna have the date. Whatever you're frantic about, the longer you flop around, you're never finding your keys, phone, glasses in that state. So I would invite people to, next time it happens, and it will, because I can't stop you from losing things. I'm not that good. Is just take stop. Okay, like when you're flopping around, whatever it is, take a deep breath, laugh it off, like, ha, 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 and then apologize to everybody. And then you'll find they're right here. Like, your brain is literally being deprived of oxygen. So it can't come up with a solution.
Yeah, no, that's true. And calm down and don't be hard on yourself for losing them. So.
Yeah, right. We really need to laugh at ourselves. I'm working right now with a special needs group, and it's kind of like you know, I think it's 21 when the young folks with developmental disabilities get kicked out of school in Ontario, or maybe Canada, and then they go on ODSP. And so there's not a lot of incentive for stuff, but this is a program to keep them involved, get them in community and stuff. So we go to a park now. It was online at first, but now for the last 3 weeks, we've been in person at a park. And it's so beautiful, just connecting with the people. Everybody's different. It's not for everybody, for sure not. Nothing is. Yeah. And just, you know, connecting on another level, which, you know, you see people, and then I invite them to, you know, what games would you like to play? Do you want to introduce an activity? Is there a song that you would prefer to play? You know, one young man, he doesn't talk that much, asked, what do you have a song? He said the Halloween song, Michael Jackson. So it was Thriller. And when we put that song on, Lorianne, my goodness, he knew all the moves. It was like, for sure, I don't know the moves. I'm doing it like I know the moves. I don't know the moves. But you know, the Thriller, yeah, you know the song, yeah. And it was just like, wow, it's like he just came to life. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he came to life. In that moment, it was just like, He did all the moves. It's magic. And I just think we need to be more tolerant of everybody else.
Yes.
Just be tolerant to everybody. We're all, eating disorders, like especially for women, right? Our society is just like so brutal looking at those pictures. And
it's actually interesting though that you say, especially for women, but you see there's always been men who have it, but the statistics are changing now because men are opening up more as we go along. So now you're seeing the numbers go up for men as well. Probably we're up there too, but a guy's not going to admit to it. But women were more likely to seek out help and admit to it than men were. But we're seeing that that the numbers have gone up. Simply, I think personally, is because men are opening up and more vulnerable than they used to be in as far as doing that. So, which is good, because that's how you get help, right? Is by saying, I need help. And you need laughter.
yeah, what was the final thing that really helped you to get on a healing path?
Well, I had been trying. I mean, I've gone to many counselors and therapists, and I think I mean, I was married for 15 years, and it was, in fact, when the final ties with my ex went away, that's when I actually quit. And I'm not blaming him for it, but obviously, even my counselor before I got married, she says, I'm not sure, he might be a trigger. And what you have to do is figure out, don't, keep triggers away. So it might have been a blessing that we did divorce, because it helped. The other thing too, there were a couple of other things. I mean, you get tired of, you don't want to see your reflection in the toilet anymore. It's awful. And then my sister was also a big one. She says, I know you're still doing it. And she says, but I love you and know that I'm here for you. And then I woke up and said, why am I doing this? There's no triggers anymore. I'm 48 years old. It's time to quit. So now the giving it up was not as difficult as I thought. It was the emotions that come along after, because of course you eat your emotions. It's like, like addictions, that's what you do. So it was learning to deal with them without going to bulimia. That was probably the biggest challenge for me. So.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you don't mind that I
No, not at all.
That's your personal journey.
my part of my story. So yeah, and now that's why I became a bulimia recovery coach, and I wrote a book on it. And so this is where I wanted to be a lot longer ago. But of course, I needed to know that I was fully recovered before I went on to help other people. And you can fully recover. So, but laughter is very important for me. Like I said, a positive mindset was also very important. And, when you're anxious, best thing that you can do is watch comedy, keep yourself laughing, and you feel a lot better. I don't watch the news. So there you go.
The news isn't going to make you happy. It's just going to, yeah, right. It's interesting because interesting to me. I ride my bike every day. I'm in Bradford. I ride my bike around town, and I have combined my laughter yoga now with my bike riding. So it's double duty. I'm getting my cardiovascular and my cardiovascular double. It's like double. And I talk to everyone. I'm chatty Cathy, so I wave at everyone and talk. And there was a gentleman with his it was his granddaughter, as it turned out. They were stopped at a little pond, and so I stopped, and of course I was laughing, and I stopped, and he was kind of like protective, and I was like, oh, he's clearly uncomfortable, so I left. Oh, sorry about that. Receptionist. And so that was fine. I just got on my way. When I saw him the next time, I was standing on a bridge, and he came up and we started talking. He didn't have his granddaughter. He said to me, when people are laughing by themselves, people think there's something wrong with them. And I said, oh, I know. I didn't know he was talking about me. Until I got, so that was fine. We had a little chat. And then I came home, and then like the light bulb, I was like, oh my gosh, he was talking. Oh, he was afraid of me. Him with his little granddaughter. I was like, oh yes, I know. I yeah, those crazy people.
I'm one of
I was like,
them.
oh, I was the one that he was afraid of me because I was like just laughing. Ah, ha, ha. And it's really interesting the response that I get if it's new people that haven't seen me before, like people that see me on a regular basis. There's a couple, an Asian couple, and every time I see them, they start laughing now. Like they start, because it's much bigger in Asia, right? So they start laughing, and then I'm laughing. We have a little laughter session. Then I thank him, hey, and then I get on my way. It's just kind of a fun little. I don't know if they speak English or not, but we just laugh. It doesn't matter. It's universal language. But for other people, it's really, I think I'm just going to get shirts that say, come and laugh with me, and then say laughter yoga or something, so they don't think I'm cuckoo and call the police or something.
That's a good idea. So anybody who joins your club will need that too, so that when they're out there doing it, people won't think you're crazy. And isn't that too sad though? That is actually a little bit of a sad thing, that they think that there's something wrong with you if you're laughing. And less of one if you're walking around grumpy, or if you're crying, they're going to be worried about you. But if you're laughing, you're crazy. It's interesting.
It's a backwards flip, right? I mean, it's just like that. Someone said that about, like, why is it that you could walk in a room, like, be really grumpy and you know nothing, but if you're really happy, people are going to be like, oh, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with me? No, I'm happy. Is that okay? Oh, Madan Kataria, his goal is world peace.
Nice. World
peace so with this global laughter movement, his goal is world peace. And I would love to share a few of the wonderful things that are happening with laughter yoga around the world. We had a Canadian laughter yoga summit in January of this year. Again, people from around the world came. There was a gentleman from Mexico. So many inspiring stories, but this man from Mexico, he was working in the prisons. So with young teenage boys, you know, who made a mistake, selling drugs or doing drugs or B&Es or just like silly little misdemeanors. Now they're in jail. Now they're hardened criminals. This project in the prison in Mexico. So those young men, they look so hardened at the beginning, and at the end of this project, you know, they had softened, they were connecting on a deeper level. And, you know, in the documentary, I didn't watch the whole thing, but the piece around the laughter project was so inspiring, because when we can laugh, we can connect and realize, these things that we have going on, like this, you know, like that voice in your head that isn't your friend. Never. Like, who would have a friend that would say those things to you, right? Thanks for being my friend and putting me down all the time, saying I'm not good enough. Stop it, right? So, like, I actually would love to give a tip for your listeners.
Please.
I have trained myself when I'm driving, that if somebody cuts me off, it's never personal, although we take it personal. We're like, hey. So when somebody cuts me off now, it primes me to do my laughter yoga. I'm like, they cut me off, so I'm like, hey, laughter yoga. And I'm like, I'm laughing my head off and flailing my arms around. I'm holding onto the wheel, but and paying attention, but laughing, right? So the person, they're looking at me because they know they cut me off. They're looking in their rearview mirror, and believe it or not, I get more space because they think I'm cuckoo. And I arrive at my destination. I'm all oxygenated. I've, you know, all the love drugs. Pew, pew, pew. As we smile, pew, 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 and then we laugh. Ha ha ha. Pew, pew, pew. That's the love drugs. And then they arrive at their destination all stressed, like, oh my gosh, maybe I'll be more careful next time.
Yeah.
Anything that we do, laughter yoga goes with everything. If somebody has a chore that they don't like to do, like somebody doesn't like vacuuming or something, if you add laughter to that chore, now it's a fun chore. And it's a fun thing to do with kids. Like if they're like, oh, I hate pulling weeds. It's like, good, start laughing and pull the weeds. Now see how different it is. It's a whole different exercise.
It's true. Absolutely. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here with me again. And where would our listeners be able to find you, Cathy?
Well, I would love to invite everyone to come and check out Laughter Yoga. I offer free Laughter Yoga Club every Tuesday morning on Zoom, 30 minutes, free self-care. Come and check it out. As a laughter, my Laughter Club, my laughter page is cathysclub.com with us, Cathy with a C. And all the information about how to register is there. It's on Zoom, free, just register to get the link. And as a laughter yoga teacher, I incorporate, like every teacher, I bring different tools. I have all different tools, and I've been doing emotional freedom technique, the tapping, since 1999. I'm so happy that it's becoming mainstream. So I incorporate tapping into my session. I incorporate brain gym, which is connecting your two lobes. And other energy modalities. So it's not just about laughter, it's about self-care. My sessions are, because I really want to, I'm one of those generous entities, generous beings. When I learn something, I want to pass it on. It's not like I want to, oh, look at, I have all this great information. Oh, look at me go. Oh, look at it all. No, I'm like, oh, wow, everyone needs to know this. And so I just share my knowings. So I offer tips on how to sleep better. If you wake up and you can't get back to sleep, if you have some pain, if you just want to get out of stress, if you want to just relax for a little bit, what you can do, I mean, other than just laughing, because our hands are the conductors, we are energy. If you're feeling low energy, you just got to move. Right? Who was it? The smart guy that said E equals MC squared. Einstein, was that Einstein? Right? So energy in motion. So if we're feeling tired and we're just sitting there, we're going to get more tired.
Yeah.
If we're feeling tired and we're like, I don't feel like going for a walk, go for a walk anyway. Go for a walk and you'll be like, oh, it's like if you were like before COVID, if you were ever like invited to a party and then you're like, oh, I don't really feel like going. But when you go, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I came.
Yeah.
Same idea. Yeah. So just come to my class or any class, but come to mine.
Perfect.
And just check it out. It's free. Nothing to lose.
Well, that's wonderful. Again, thank you so much. Thanks for the work you're doing as well. And thanks for being a guest.
Opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Be sure to visit me at bleepbulimia.com.